You are watching Paul's Old Crap, and in today's episode, we're going to take a look at Apple and Macintosh manuals from the 1980s and the 1990s. This video is going to be probably in 2, maybe 3 parts, depending on how long it takes to go through the stacks of manuals. Basically, I've got a number of user guides for various Macintosh computers. Then we have a pile of manuals that are more about miscellaneous hardware. We got like monitors and peripherals and some of the software products in here. And finally, we do have manuals specific to HyperCard. So, this video, you might find it boring, but if you're a fan of the Apple and Macintosh computer stuff from the 80s and 90s, like I am, you might find it interesting that we take a look at all of these manuals that would have come with the products back in those times. So, this is going to be a long video. Hope you enjoy it. Alright, so first manual we're going to take a look at is for the Macintosh Plus, the owner's guide. I'm not too sure where I got this manual from. I haven't actually owned a Mac Plus in a really long time, but if we look at the copyright here, it is copyright 1988, and Apple Computer, their old address here, 20525 Mariani Avenue. I think now the Apple headquarters is like number 1 through 6 on Infinite Loop. I think this was one of their previous headquarter addresses way back in the 80s and 90s, so that's kind of neat. Let's see what we have here. Unpacking your Macintosh Plus. Oh, look, tells you that's a disk drive. Interesting. Diagram of your ports. How you should be sitting when you use your Mac Plus. Interesting. Safety. Training disk. Inside the Macintosh Plus. A little diagram of the logic board, and it explains the internal components. The microprocessor, the Motorola 68000 processor. The RAM and the ROM, the display. Ooh, color graphics. Picture of what a hard drive looks like. Keyboard. A bit of explanation on the ports, it looks like. What else do we have here? How the Macintosh Plus works. Okay, so this is like an introduction to the system environment. It tells you how the system folder works. This is probably like System 6 or older. I'm not too sure what actually shipped with the Macintosh Plus. Just goes into some detail on how the system works, I guess. Caring for your Macintosh Plus. Oh, yeah, keep the vents clear so it doesn't overheat. Clean the mouse. How to replace your battery. Don't leave your floppy disks out in the rain, I guess. Interesting. The Macintosh product line, going back to the 128K. And so, at the time of this printing, it looks like we had the Macintosh 2, the Macintosh SE, the Macintosh Plus there, obviously, and then the earlier models. Goes on with some of the specifications, and over here we do have the specifications for the Macintosh Plus. CPU 7.8 megahertz, clock frequency, but everyone just calls it 8. Memory available. RAM information, how to upgrade your memory, the proper SIM configuration. Oh, and then we've got actual pinouts here. It's actually interesting information if you were technical, I suppose. Part numbers for different accessories you could get. Talking about the SCSI chain, how to do all your external devices. And yeah, that's pretty much the end of that. Interesting. And then we've got Apple ImageWriter II Owner's Guide. This is probably the kind of printer you would have used if you had Macintosh Plus. I do remember we had these in my elementary school a long time ago, and they had a lab of Mac classics, and we had some of these on the network. Let's see. Oh, actually, I was going to take a look at... Okay, so this is also from 1988. Basic ImageWriter setup. How to set up your printer. Sure. I haven't used one of these in a long time. Tells you how to feed the paper. Self-test. Connecting to your Macintosh. Basic serial cable. Ooh, connecting to your Apple II. And picture of a 2GS there. Set up in the Apple II. Connect to the Apple IIc. Connected to the various other Apple II models. Oh, and then even if you're needing to configure the, what is it, the Apple II Super Serial Card. Okay, whatever that is. Installing ports into your Apple II. Oh, that sounds fun. Working with the ImageWriter II. Some basics on how to use a printer. Very interesting. General troubleshooting. Caring for your printer. Neat. This is a bit of a newer manual. Setting up your Power Macintosh. This is for a G3 desktop. Let's see. And here we go, 1997. And yeah, Apple Computer 1 Infinite Loop. So that's the current headquarters address, I think. What type of G3 is this? Okay, so this was the, looks like the beige G3 desktop. Let's see all the stuff you get with it. Positioning the computer. I could say something inappropriate about that picture, but I'll just leave it. How to plug in your computer. Turning the computer off, really. Basically just pointing out the features of your G3 desktop. Ports on the back. I mean, this is fairly basic stuff. I don't think there's really a whole lot of extreme technical information in here. Connecting to the network. Installing PCI cards. Yeah, pretty much you remove the lid and then you put the card in. I mean, there's really not much to it. These were pretty easy to upgrade, so... Yeah. Let's see. Macintosh Performa User's Guide. The 6200 CD and 6300 CD series computers. I wonder if this is actually my manual that I got with my Performa 6320. It possibly is, otherwise I have no idea how I actually got this manual. This one is from 1995, and like I mentioned in the other manual, this also has the one infinite loop address. Welcome to Macintosh. Congratulations on the purchase of your new Macintosh. Ooh, then we got the Power PC all over the place. Interesting. Yeah, looks like a Performa. Probably gonna be pretty basic stuff, just like the G3 manual. We'll talk with the Mac OS, learning the basics, using the guide for help if you really needed to do that, but I mean, it's a Macintosh, why would you even need help? It's pretty much simple to use. Talking about the ports, so yeah, like this is quite similar to the unit I have, because I've got the TV tuner, I've got the video input cards as well. Yeah. Using a CD-ROM drive, working with photo CDs. Rebuild your desktop regularly. Okay. Talking about troubleshooting. Yeah, basic information, I guess. This one, I don't know why exactly they made one specific for the 6360. Now, there are a number of differences between the 6360 model and all of the previous ones. I actually suppose that's why they made a different manual, because the 6360 Performa, I think it's like a PCI-based system, whereas the Performa models before this were kind of like cobbled together new bus computers that used an 040 bus and some junk like that. So I think the people have said the 6360 is really the only Performa of the 6300 and 6200 line that's worth owning. Yeah, I guess it makes sense. And, it's from 1996. What do we have here? Actually, let's look at the... Okay, so yeah, this one does mention, obviously, doing upgrades and PCI cards. So that would make sense why there is a manual specific for this model, because this would obviously not apply to all of the other Performa models. But, I mean, most of this is just going to be recycled. Physically, the computer looks exactly the same, so... yeah. Yeah, connecting your monitor. It's pretty much all of it, Apple guide and all that stuff. It's all of the same information, and then just covering your PCI expansion, wherever that section is. Somewhere. Oh yeah, I guess if we're talking about the disassembly of the computer, and yeah, so this would be different from the other models because you've got a little adapter card with a PCI slot on there. And installing a PCI card. Yeah. So let's take a look at Macintosh PowerBook. So this is going to be for the Macintosh PowerBook 190 series. Important update about your battery. This is interesting. This is a note. When the 190 and the 5300 model came out, I don't know if the 190 originally was going to ship with the lithium-ion battery, but the 5300, I think originally did come with a lithium-ion battery, and that was recalled because there was a risk of it catching fire or something. So it says the lithium-ion rechargeable battery for the Macintosh is not available as a replacement battery for your PowerBook. You can only replace your battery pack with the nickel metal hydride. Yeah, so after they recalled the lithium-ion, you'd get the nickel metal hydride battery. So this is just basically telling you that no, you cannot have any lithium-ion for your PowerBook because it might catch on fire. I don't know if that actually happened to anyone who owned the computer. I think it was actually like a lab machine or something during production, so none of the like exploding PowerBooks ever made it to the public's hands, but that's just going by what I remember years ago when I remember hearing about that, so I could be wrong. I don't know. This is from 1995. Let's see. Just basically getting started with your computer. Fairly basic stuff, talking about your ports and whatnot. I wonder if this will cover disassembly of it, because I don't think they would expect your average person to be pulling apart your laptop, but I'm not sure. Well, I mean, it's got obviously the removable modules, PC cards, using eWorld, interesting. Different types of adapters and whatnot. Tips and troubleshooting. Yeah, so I don't think this is actually going to include anything about taking it apart, because they wouldn't want you to do that. What is this? Installing a RAM expansion card. Actually, this might be it. Okay, it is covering the disassembly. Interesting. Okay, so by removing the keyboard, that gives you access to the RAM expansion card. Or that's the heat sink and the expansion card is under there. Okay, yeah. So what I was pointing at before is the thing that it tells you not to touch because it's hot. Yeah, okay. And then your card for RAM would be there. Interesting. Neat. Another Performa manual. This is the 6400 series. This came out in '96. This is the Performa Tower. Bit of a strange looking computer in my opinion, but I don't know, I've always wanted one of these and I've never actually owned one. So I don't know how I have a manual for it, but I don't think we're going to find anything too interesting in here. Basic ports, I mean, like it's got all the, I think you've got like your AV ports and whatnot, so I mean pretty much everything that the other Performas had. And the 6400, I believe, is a PCI system. 3D surround sound. Interesting. Oh, and then you've got your balance control for the sub, which is inside of the computer. I think that was one neat feature about the 6400. Using your CD-ROM drive, blah blah blah. Yeah, most of this stuff is exactly the same as the other Performa manual. Alternative networks, token ring, ISDN, FDDI. Yeah, real popular. Or if you wanted to connect your VCR or your Laserdisc player to your Performa. Yeah, that's, you gotta know how to do that, for sure. Oh my goodness. Oh boy, what do we got here? The Macintosh SE. The Macintosh SE. That's bizarre. I don't know why it's like that. It's very interesting. And this one is 1987. Welcome to the SE. I think we're going to have some nice color pictures here. Look at all these happy office workers setting up their Macintoshes. Oh my goodness. Now, these graphics are kind of nice in this manual, in my opinion. Setting up your computer. Yeah, these people look real happy about their computers. Training disc. Tour your Macintosh. How to move your mouse, dragging an icon. So a lot of this is just basic information on how to use the system. And most people already know how to do that. Let's see what else we have here. So we got some guy using his SE in the middle of a building under construction, I suppose. Neat. Moving your mouse, double clicking, yeah. Fascinating. Desk accessories. Come on, give me more funny pictures. Printing stuff. In the middle of a library. She has a computer. That guy doesn't. That's unfortunate. She doesn't either. Or that person. Or that person. Or I think that's a person there. That's the only one. What else we got here? Using system software, blah blah blah. This is interesting. Expanding your Macintosh. Then we got some dudes and some big ass screens that are doing something. This poor guy got cut off on the edge. Ooh, putting hard drives in. More disk drives. Personal modem, laser writers, image writers. What else we have here? Caring for your Macintosh SE. They're busy over here, and she's just like, whatever, I'm gonna play on my computer. The internal hard drive, specifications. Oh, come on. Is that it? Ugh. I don't know. That's a neat manual, though. I have two of the same manual. Performa, Power Macintosh 7200. Well, right. We're going to look at one of these. This is probably not going to be too interesting, though. This is from 96. Getting started. Come on. Let's take a look here. So, I mean, like, this is going to be exactly like the beige G3 manual with the dude carrying his computer in a weird fashion. Yeah, this is probably almost exactly like the G3 manual, but probably talking about the older system software, because this was still in the System 7 days, and the beige G3 would have been released in the System 8 days, I believe. So yeah, I mean, we've really seen all of this before. Yeah, whatever. Next few we have here aren't computers, but let's take a look at them anyway. User's guide for the Apple CD300i Plus. The I meaning internal. If it was a CD300E, that would be an external CD-ROM drive. Using your CD-ROM drive. Sure. Audio playback. Blah, blah, blah. I feel like we've seen the picture with the parrots here over and over again. Yeah, I don't know. This is generally just covered already in the other manuals, but it is a manual specific for your CD-ROM drive. Next one here, the OneScanner. This, I think they had a couple different models of these. There were color and grayscale scanners. The elementary school I mentioned in when I was talking about one of the other manuals, they had a grayscale scanner. And that was the only time I'd ever actually seen an Apple scanner out in the wild. And this is from '92, and it's still got the old Mariani Avenue address in there. What else we have here? Setting up the scanner. Comes with a SCSI card. That's bizarre. Huh. These instructions seem to be for a PC, because it's talking about you need an AT style slot in your computer. This is strange. I don't know. Yeah, okay, so the OneScanner connects to your IBM PC or fully compatible computer through the SCSI port. So I don't know actually why this one is specific for IBM, but I don't know, that was interesting. A manual for a disk drive. This is a large manual for a disk drive. Now, I wonder if... Oh, I understand, I think, why. So, and this is for, I think, way back in the Apple II days. It talks about the Apple II GS. Blah, 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 how to use a disk drive. Oh, that's pretty easy. I think this is in, yeah, multiple languages. I believe that would be French. Blah, blah, blah. Maybe Spanish, I think. I have no idea. And then I think it gets to, I think it was Japanese over here. So yeah, okay, that explains why the manual is so big. It's multiple languages inside of it. But yeah, we have the old address there. When was this printed? Or, well, the copyright 1986. Interesting. We already looked at this. This is the Macintosh Plus manual. Oh, this is a different style of manual, it looks like. And it's also in a different language. Actually, while this is there, I'm going to bring up the fact that I have a Macintosh Plus keyboard with what appears to be Japanese symbols on it. I'm assuming that wherever I got this manual from is the same place I got this keyboard from. And I have no idea what happened to the Macintosh Plus that I'm assuming this came with. I still have this keyboard, I think just because it had the Japanese symbols, and I thought that was kind of unique enough. But unfortunately, I must have lost the computer some time ago. Strange. I don't know where it went. So we can't really read this manual, but we can look at the nice pretty pictures they included. So here we have a Macintosh Plus, and then a bunch of desk accessories if you owned a Macintosh Plus that you would need. Interesting. So yeah, Japanese, Japanese, Japanese. Come on, don't we have any more pictures? Wow, look at that phone. That's old. Got ImageWriter over here. Your nice, happy Macintosh Plus. And what else do we have in here? Blah, blah, blah. Add-on disk drives. So yeah, because the Macintosh Plus doesn't have any internal hard drive, unless you got like the HyperDrive expansion or whatever, which I think was able to put a hard drive inside of the unit. But yeah, you'd be stuck using your main disk drive, and if you wanted to have other software loaded, you'll need another disk drive. Yada yada yada. What do we have here? Hard at work at the construction site with your Macintosh Plus. Neat. This next one. This one, I believe. Okay, yeah, this is pretty interesting. My name is written in it, along with the phone number I had back in 1995, because this is the manual that came with the Macintosh II SI that I bought at a computer store in the mid-90s, and I still have it. That's pretty interesting. Well, interesting to me. You all might find it boring as hell. That's even if you're still watching this video. So this is copyright 1991. And this isn't specific to the Macintosh 2 SI, I don't think. This is more of a like a general manual. It talks about using the Mac OS, or, well, I should say the system, because it wasn't called Mac OS back in those days. Probably System 6 or System 7 information. Creating documents. Setting up your Macintosh. So let's take a look. Oh, it even mentions AUX, it's the Apple Unix system. I think this is talking about installing your system. I'm not seeing anything in here that's actually specific to the hardware. So this is, I think, more of a general manual for all of the systems that that were available, right, I guess in the early 90s, because like, they got a picture of a Macintosh Classic here. A lot of this is just the software. Okay, and then we've got like talking about adjusting your screen brightness, and we've got a picture of an SE and what looks like a 2CI or a 2CX with the like a 12 or 13-inch RGB monitor there. That's the kind of monitor that was on the 2SI that I had. Yeah, printing, connecting to your network. Blah blah blah. And we're pretty much at the end. So, yeah, this was basically Macintosh User's Guide for desktop Macintosh computers. So when this manual was designed and written by Apple, I think it was just made to be fairly generic, so they wouldn't have manuals for each model. Like if you had a separate manual for every different Macintosh 2 model, I mean that's a lot. Yeah, that's neat. Let's see, LaserWriter Select 360. I don't imagine this is going to be very interesting. About your LaserWriter. It's a printer. What do you really need to know about it? Connecting to an IBM PC. You do that with a parallel port, I guess. Oh, so you can have it on your Mac with your serial plug, and then your PC with that other plug. Installing your drivers for Windows 3.1. Interesting. How to print? Yes, I think we know how to print. General printing problems. Where's the one that says PC load letter? I wonder if that's in here. I don't know. Paper is jammed. Close enough. Yeah. Whatever. This, I wonder if this is actually exactly the same as the other manual. So this is Macintosh User's Guide for desktop Macintosh computers, but it doesn't have that ring that was on the other manual that we looked at. So this is from 1993, so it's slightly newer than the other manual that I showed you from my Macintosh 2 SI. But again, this looks like a lot of just fairly general information about the system. How to use disks. Yeah, this is just fairly basic system information. Macintosh reference. Again, a picture of, well, kind of what looks like a Macintosh Classic, but not really. Yeah. Then we've got an about this Macintosh window, and it mentions the 2FX with System Software 7.0. So I think this is just a very broad manual that covers System 7. Yeah, connecting to the network. To me, this just looks like, yeah, it's all System 7 information. Yeah. Neat. Another one that's probably not going to be too interesting. It's the Apple StyleWriter. This is the Apple inkjet printers. So we already covered the dot matrix printer, which was the ImageWriter II, and one of the previous manuals was the LaserWriter. So this is kind of like your average home printer, the StyleWriter. Installing your ink cartridge, blah blah blah. And then we've got a picture of it connected to an LC 575 or LC 580. It's that form factor there, I think. Blah blah blah. Quick Draw GX. Yeah. Somewhere in my house, I think I do actually have a StyleWriter 1200 that I picked up from the classifieds with a bunch of other old Macs. So I think that's maybe where I got this manual from. Otherwise, I had never actually owned an Apple printer before. So, and troubleshooting your printer. Blah blah blah. Yeah. Neat. What do you got here? The next two, we're going to talk about the Apple MessagePad 2000. This is the Apple Newton. The first one is the Getting Started Guide. This is a pretty small manual. This is from 1997. It's not in the greatest shape. Covering the basics of the Newton, how to open it, replace your batteries, connecting stuff to it, set up application, reinstalling your software. And the basics, telling you what all the buttons do on your Newton. Entering information, routing information, sure. So yeah, this is just a very brief overview of the MessagePad 2000. I believe I have this from, like I actually own Newton MessagePad 2000. I bought from eBay many years ago, and I believe this manual and this other manual both came with that unit. Otherwise, I have no idea how I would have gotten these. So if we take a quick look at the full user's manual, let's see. Safety and maintenance. What did I see here? Take care not to break the glass screen. Thank you for telling me that. I would have not known that was important. Well, I guess, to be fair, back then PDAs were a new thing and nobody had smartphones because they didn't exist. And I suppose telling you not to break the screen on your device might actually be useful advice. Let's see. So basics on text entry, using your different applications, address book. What? I suppose you could dial through the phone if you placed your phone onto the Newton. I didn't even think about that. That's actually interesting. Because the Newton can make call tones, and if your phone just listens for those tones, should try that sometime. What else we have here? Blah blah blah. So a lot of this is just basically the software that comes with the Newton. I don't think there's really that much that's too interesting about it. If you were configuring a modem, getting started, time zones, routing information, connecting to a printer, preparing to send and receive faxes. Yeah, this is very relevant information. Very critical that we know this stuff. Ooh, using electronic mail. Not email, electronic mail. Getting your modem set up to dial into your internet provider. Viewing emails. Storage and apps. Blah, blah, blah. Backup and restore. Viewing Newton books. It's like having a Kindle or whatever the hell device you can get to view like ebooks and carry them around with you. An example of a Newton book. A little tiny thing. Doesn't appear that you have a whole lot of formatting available for books, just slightly different font sizes. I don't know. Troubleshooting. Hard resets and whatnot. I'm going to have to look into doing this process on the one I have. Because it's got like some corrupted crap that's in there, and I wasn't able to get it on the internet when I was trying to do that for another video. So I might actually have to use this manual to troubleshoot the Newton that I own. So it's actually a good idea. I went through my storage and dug all of these manuals out. When you're trying to check your electronic mail and there is no dial tone, kids these days don't understand the problems that we faced in the 90s. Oh no, the MessagePad has gotten wet. Beaming. Shit, is this Star Trek? Oh, infrared beaming. Not as impressive, to be honest. Talking about your batteries. The Newton 2000, I think just took, AA batteries. The one I have, I'm trying to remember if it is AA batteries or if it was like a rechargeable battery pack. I'm not too sure what is in mine. Compatibility. Blah blah blah. Neat. And this is the last manual that we're going to look at for the pile that I had on User's Guide. So we're not even like halfway through all of the Apple manuals I actually plan on covering. But this will be the end of this first part of my videos for this topic. So this is the Macintosh LC 575. And I do actually own an LC 575. I can't say for sure if that's why I have this manual, And someone's written on here LC 575. Because my 575, I've had it for a while, and yeah, I really have no idea where this manual came from. And this is copyright 1994, and we do have the one infinite loop address. So if you look up on Wikipedia, I'm sure it'll tell you when Apple actually made their headquarters there. If my memory serves, that that property where their office is, or well, their head office used to be, I believe that was actually previously owned by Motorola, and then Apple purchased it, potentially in like the late 80s or early 90s, and then built their headquarters there. And now there's obviously the new Apple headquarters that is full of glass doors that people apparently walk into and go to the hospital for. But I don't know. Let's see. Getting started. I mean, this is an all-in-one computer. There's really not much to it. The basics of using the Mac system. The guide. Where's the picture with the parrots? Come on, that's got to be in here somewhere. What is this? Technical information about your LC 575. You got the 68 LC040 at 33 megahertz. I'm not actually sure why this is like a loose page, because this manual is for the 575 specifically. Yeah. Maintenance tips. How to look at your computer properly. Oh, it even talks about removing the board. This is what I like about these computers. Basically, you just remove the back cover, and your main board just slides right out the back, and then you can go ahead with your expansion and whatnot. The Color Classic is along that same idea. So it's fairly simple to do upgrades to your system. But where is my parrot? It's gotta be in here somewhere. Damn. It isn't. Doesn't talk about the see your own drive at all. Oh, that is disappointing. Well, that is the last of the first stack of manuals. That will be the end of this first part of my videos. I expect to have maybe 1 or 2 more parts depending on how long it takes me to go through the next stack of manuals. So, yeah, if you enjoyed watching this video, please take a look for the next one. Thanks for watching.